We set those ambitious goals but struggle with where to begin. We know where we want to go, but the path to get there seems unclear or overwhelming. We end up either procrastinating because the goal seems too big, or we take random actions that just don't build that momentum. Welcome to the Overthinking and Outthink podcast, the show where we turn overthinking into powerful action. I'm Chavez, and if you've ever felt like your mind is racing in a million directions and you're looking to see it to your advantage, you're in the right place. This podcast is all about helping introverts like you to stop overthinking and start outthinking, embracing your natural strengths to lead with confidence, calm, and clarity. Whether you're building your online business, leveling up your leadership at your 9-to-5, or just finding ways to own your quiet power, every episode will leave you with actionable tips and inspiring stories to help you take the next step with purpose and confidence. So if you're ready to stop overthinking and start out thinking, let's dive in. Hi everybody, welcome back to Overthinking and Out. Have you ever thought in your mind, I have so many things I want to do, but I just need to understand step by step how to get there, because I know I could get there, but why do I need to wait around and figure it out myself when I know people have done this before? Give me a step-by-step map or step-by-step process, and I know that I'm going to be successful because I've already thought about it. How many of you actually do that? Well, today we're going to continue our series on turning research into results with the strategic start. It's a powerful approach to achieving significant outcomes through carefully designed small steps. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by big goals or frustrated by slow progress, who hasn't? This episode is going to give you a whole new perspective. So like I said, over the past 2 episodes, we've explored how to break free from the research loop and how to build quietly without constantly broadcasting. Today, we're going to focus on how to design your starting steps so strategically that major progress is going to become almost inevitable. And here's a challenge that most of us face. We set those ambitious goals but struggle with where to begin. We know where we want to go, but the path to get there seems unclear or overwhelming. We end up either procrastinating because the goal seems too big, or we take random actions that just don't build that momentum. I can attest to that, especially in starting my online business. I know where I want to go, but there's so many people out there lying on social media or giving just false ways of getting there that it's kind of hard to get a step-by-step process unless you really start researching and understanding the people that have really gone through it, who have really put in the work and are very successful, and then learn the strategic steps that they took. It took me probably 9 months before I finally realized the right people that I needed to just reach out to or follow or buy their course or, that type of thing. So if you want to learn what mistakes I made, and I made plenty, reach out and I'll definitely tell you what not to do. So today I'm going to show you how to identify the exact steps that lead to outsized results, which are basically starting points. These aren't just any small steps, they're carefully chosen actions that create a foundation for everything that follows. Let's begin by understanding why starting points matter so much. And they matter so much more than most people even realize. There's fascinating research from behavioral psychology showing that the initial steps you take in any project dramatically influences your overall trajectory. In one study of business launches, companies that focus on optimizing their starting activities were 38% more likely to achieve long-term success compared to those that just jumped in without strategic planning. I'm really surprised it's as low as 38%. I would think it'd be higher than that. But think about a chess game. The opening moves might not win the game directly, but they sure do create possibilities for everything that follows. The right opening positions your pieces for advantage throughout the whole game. Well, your projects work the same way. The right strategic start positions you for success in three crucial ways. Number one, it creates momentum. The right small action isn't just about that action itself. It's about setting up a natural next step. It's about creating forward motion that continues with less effort. Number two is that it builds confidence through early wins. When you start with steps that deliver immediate visible progress, you generate psychological fuel for the journey that's ahead. And number three, it establishes foundational systems. The right starting actions create frameworks that make future decisions easier and more effective. Let me give you an example. If you're building an online business, most people immediately focus on creating products or services. But a strategic starter might instead focus on establishing a simple system for capturing email addresses. To be honest, if you don't have a system, it's going to be so difficult. I mean, it's just like at your work or at your 9 to 5. If you don't have processes, everything's going to be all over the place, and you're never going to get anything accomplished. This small step creates an asset that appreciates over time and enables everything else. So, how do you identify the right strategic starting points for your specific goals? You start what's called foundation actions. And these are steps that don't directly achieve your goal, but create a base that makes every future action more effective. For example, if you're writing a book, a foundation action might be creating a simple template for capturing ideas throughout your day. This doesn't directly add words to your manuscript, but it ensures you never lose valuable insights and builds a resource that serves your entire project. And for someone building a business, a foundation action might be creating a simple client tracking system before you even have clients. Yes, it could feel premature, but having this system ready means you can focus completely on serving those first clients when they arrive, rather than scrambling to organize your process. The following part of that is proof points, and they're small, achievable actions that prove your concept works. It proves it to yourself and potentially to others. If you're developing a coaching service, a proof point might be helping one person for free and documenting the results. If you're creating a product, it might be building one small feature and testing it thoroughly. But proof points give you concrete evidence that your idea does have merit, which both motivates you and provides data for improvement. And then there's the acceleration steps. These are actions that might take the same effort as any other step, but create increasing returns over time. For a content creator, an acceleration step might be developing a content repurposing system that turns one piece of work into multiple assets. There's so much software out there that actually helps you to do that. I use repurpose.io, and I don't have to create a ton of content because it does it for me. For someone building expertise, it might be creating a learning routine that compounds your daily knowledge. But the power of this three-part framework is that it focuses your initial energy on actions that continues to pay dividends long after you complete them. Once you've identified potential strategic starting points, the next challenge is how do you implement them? And this is where the minimum viable progress approach comes in. This concept is adapted from the startup idea of minimum viable product, but applied to personal progress. Instead of trying to make perfect progress, you're aiming for the smallest meaningful step forward. And here's how it works. For any strategic starting point you've identified, just ask yourself, what is the simplest version of this that still creates value? Let's just say one of your strategic points is creating a simple website for your business idea. The conventional approach might have been you planning every page, perfecting your message, and designing a beautiful site before launching. But the minimum viable progress approach would instead ask, what's the simplest version that still serves a purpose? Maybe it's a single page with a clear description of what you offer and a way to contact you. I found that Beacons was perfect for me to start. It's a link in bio that pretty much has everything, but it really is so easy to use, and it sets your store up. It sets everything up for you. Your email, sets up a website if that's what you want. It sets up your audience. It just does so many things for you, and it puts it in a really attractive way for your customers to go in and see. Well, this approach changes the goal from build a perfect website to create the simplest effective web presence. The first might take weeks or months, but the second could be done in an afternoon. The beauty of minimum viable progress is that it gets you into action really fast, but not randomly. You're still focused on strategic starting points, but just implementing them in their simplest, effective form. And this approach also creates rapid feedback loops. Instead of spending months building something based on assumptions, you quickly implement a simple version and learn from real-world interaction. And this learning really saves you from wasting time on features or elements that wouldn't have added value anyway. All right, let's pull all of these concepts together into a practical system for designing your overall progress path. The sequence of steps that will take you from where you are to where you want to be. The key insight here is that progress rarely follows a straight line, and it typically follows what I call a strategic S-curve. Periods of prep followed by rapid progress, followed by consolidation. And when you understand that this pattern helps you design more effective action plans and maintain motivation during the slow periods, it just makes it easier to keep moving. So start by mapping out your strategic S-curve for your current project. And then identify, number one, the prep phase, the preparation phase. What foundation, actions, systems, and knowledge do you need to establish before you can expect significant visible progress? And number two is the acceleration phase. What actions will create rapid, visible movement towards your goal once the foundations are in place? And number three is the consolidation phase. How will you stabilize your progress and prepare for the next growth curve? For example, if you're building a consulting business, your prep phase might include creating your basic methodology and service offerings. And your acceleration phase might focus on securing and serving your first 3 clients. And your consolidation phase would involve some systemizing what you learned from those first clients to create repeatable processes. And with this S-curve mapped out, you can create what's called a progress milestone, which is specific observable points that tell you when you've completed one phase and are ready for the next. These milestones are crucial because they help you recognize and celebrate progress even when it doesn't look like traditional achievement. So completing your preparation phase might not be impressive to others, but it's a significant milestone that deserves acknowledgement. So by designing your progress path and understanding of these natural phases, you align your expectations with reality. I mean, you don't get discouraged during prep phases because you understand they're essential to later accelerate. So let's put these concepts into action right away. Here's what I want you to do this week. Is first, choose one goal or project you're working on. And if you've been following along with previous episodes, use the same project you've been developing. Secondly, identify one potential force multiplier in each category, which is a foundation action that will make everything else easier, a proof point that will validate your direction, and an acceleration step that will create increasing returns. And third, for each of these potential actions, define the minimum viable progress version. And then finally choose one of these and schedule a specific time in the next 3 days to implement it. Remember, the path to big time achievement isn't about dramatic leaps. It's about strategic starts and deliberate progress. You're building a foundation for lasting results. And that's what we want. Your analytical mind is not a barrier to action. It's your tool for designing more effective action. Use it to identify the leverage points that others miss, the starting positions that create advantage throughout your journey. So next week, let's conclude this series by exploring how to create your complete success system. And we'll have a personalized approach to consistent progress that feels natural rather than forced. And then we're going to pull together everything we've discussed into a comprehensive framework that turns your overthinking into your greatest advantage. I hope this really resonates with you. And then going by these step-by-step processes really helps you understand how to get your programs or how to get your projects moving in the right direction as an introvert. Remember to give me a review. It really helps me out. And it also gives me information that will just help me improve as well. I really appreciate you guys, and you mean so much to me. Keep thinking deeply and start strategically. And most of all, you be you. This is Drew Chavez, and you've been listening to Overthinking to Outthink. If this episode resonated with you, share it with another deep thinker in your life. And don't forget to subscribe for more strategies on turning your internal dialogue into external success. Until next time, keep thinking deeply and keep acting strategically. And most of all, you be you.